What's up, everybody? It is Chris Portillo from the City of Downey, Parks and Recreation, and today is your very second bass lesson. All right, so last lesson, we learned the basic parts of the bass. We learned how to pluck with your two fingers. Today, I'm going to be playing with the pick just because it's a little bit easier for me. You out there, continue plucking with your fingers, especially if you want to master the bass, just because that's how quote-unquote real bassists will play it. Anyway, jumping into the lesson. So today we're going to be learning how to walk the bass. And essentially what that means is just moving up and down the bass so that you can start jamming and playing in a band. And once we get into it, we'll highlight the importance of root notes. But right now, I just really want to stress, if you are learning the bass and you want to seriously learn the bass, get to know the fretboard. Get to know the fretboard, know where all of the notes are, where everything is. This way you'll be able to play anything. If anyone says, hey, jam in the key of A or A minor, you'll know that you'll start right here on the fifth of the E. So just that is important. Also, playing with a metronome is very important. But with those two things in mind, let's go ahead and zoom in and start our lesson. All right, so the first place we're going to want to start is this open E. If you'll remember, these four strings are the same as the guitar strings. So it's this first string, E, A, D, G. If you need a mnemonic device, it's Eddie, 8, Dynamite, Goodbye. All right. So let me just show you first what I mean by walking the bass. To walk the bass means just to move up the fretboard a little bit and just to get comfortable with it. So first I'm going to go slow and then I'll break it down for you. So first we got... Oops. So we got that little jaunty sort of tune. So where we're going to be starting is this open E. We're going to start at this open E, and then we're going to go ahead and hit this F sharp, and we're going to hit it with our ring finger. But when we're hitting it, we're not just hitting it and that's it. We're going to go ahead and slide to the fourth, or to this G sharp right here. So we got... like that. And this is a good way to start getting your fingers stronger, of course. Then after, we're going to go ahead and hit this one on the second fret on the A string. That is also the B note. And then we're going to hit this with the fourth fret with our ring finger. And we're going to end right here on the D string on the second fret. And that is your E note. We're back to the root notes right here. Now, it's very important in bass when you're playing to know where your root notes are. So here and here, or at least in this particular scale. We're playing an E. So that, you always need to start off on an E note. And back up right here really quickly. It's very important to understand the breakdown of music. And the very breakdown is just a simple 1, 2, 3, 4. So on that first one, on that first beat, you're going to need to make sure you always play the root note. And especially if you're the bassist, you're going to want to make sure you know where your root notes are. That way you can get to them in time for the next measure to continue. Let's go ahead and jump back in and go. So we're right here. We're starting off with our E, and that's always going to be that's your root note. So that's where we're starting. So That's where we got to last time. Now you're going to walk back up. So all together, it should sound like. So what I just did right now was I soloed a little bit and I let it, I just let it run, but I made sure to keep on the first beat, I hit the root note always. So again, root, 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 root. And it's important to know that you can hit any of these notes that I just taught you in any particular order, and it'll still sound good. It'll still sound in key because it's in the same scale, as long as you come back to that root note E right here. All right, so having that, let's go ahead and jump to this A right here. And that is on the 5th fret of the E string. And we're going to play the same exact pattern. So instead of the open E shift, we're going to start right here on the 5th. And from the 7th to the 9th, we're shifting up. And it's the same pattern. So all together. Oops. So like over here. And there you have that sort of little jaunty tune, that sort of little something to get your fingers familiar with everything, where your root notes are, with some soloing techniques and all of that. So let's try out like a more of a rock chord progression. So as the bassist, you're going to be playing a lot of root notes. So like, let's say if the rhythm guitarist is the first chord is C, you're gonna back them up with, and then if the next chord is G, you'll back them up with, the next chord is D, you'll back them up here, A. So let's go ahead and do that. This is a very popular chord progression. And it's very, if you know the tune, Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix, that's just straight right here. It's the C, G, D, A, E, and then he does. But that's Jimi Hendrix, and we're sticking to the bass right now. So we're playing a little chord progression. Now let's try to incorporate what we just learned. Remember let's try to incorporate walking the bass while we're just playing these these notes right here. So, and this is very important, where you should whip out your metronome or the metronome app on your phone. This is where you should be doing it. So, oops. All right, so very slowly we'll go. Oops. And of course, we're not going all the way like we did here, because remember, we have to keep time. So beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4. We have to make sure we come back to our root, which in this case is C, in time. So, oops. All right, and that was walking your bass. Now, hopefully you have a better idea of how to play the bass, how to move along the neck of the bass. It's a lot different than guitar. I know they may seem very similar, especially in this electric format. They're very different and they serve very different purposes. And that's why it's so exciting that we can dive into all of them, get to know them, and have a lot of fun doing it. But as always, thank you for watching. Make sure you play with a metronome, and also make sure you upload your video to social media. That way we can see it. We want to see you play the bass and everything. Make sure you hashtag Downey at home so we can see that. Other than that, take care, be safe. Hopefully we'll see you soon.